A complex visual, like this process flow diagram, can be made clear to your audience in a presentation if you start with the whole diagram for context. Then, zoom in on one section to explain that part of the diagram. Then pan across to the next section you want to explain. In this video, I want to show you how to be able to present a large complex diagram like this one, which is a manufacturing flow diagram, presented in PowerPoint so you give the audience context, but then you're able to go through each step one by one. So this is a very large diagram and it's coming in as a image file. So this happens to be a PNG, but it could be a JPEG as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to PowerPoint, and you'll notice I have started a new PowerPoint file, but I have not saved it yet. And that is important because what you need to do is you need to set an option in PowerPoint before you save it for the first time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the File, and then I'm going to go down to Options. And in the dialog box here, I'm going to go to the Advanced section. In the Advanced section, I'm looking for the image size and quality grouping. You'll notice it is by presentation. So this is a presentation level setting, not an application level setting. So you do need to set it each time. And the option I'm interested in here is this one here, which says do not compress images in file. And if I hold my cursor over the information icon there, it says checking this option provides maximum picture quality, but you may get a very large file. That's okay. It's more important for me to have high image quality because when I zoom in, I want it to still be clear. So I'm going to go ahead and check that box, and then I'll click OK. Now what I can do is I can go ahead and insert that image. So I'll go to my Insert ribbon, I'll go to Pictures from this device, and there's my image. So I'll select it and I'll say Insert. Now it's a very large image, so it's actually too big for the slide. So PowerPoint resizes it to fit the maximum height or width of the slide. In this case, it covers up the text. So obviously I don't want that. I'm going to resize it from the corner so I don't stretch or distort it and center it on the slide. There we go. Step one is done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this slide. And this is important to duplicate because the morph transition effect that we're going to use is best used when you have duplicated the slide because it's easiest for it to know what I need to morph. So I'm going to select the slide and I'm going to press on my keyboard Control D. So Control D for duplicate. It duplicates the slide exactly like it was and selects that duplicated the next slide. Now I'm going to crop this large image down to just the first step here. So I'm going to select the image, and on my Picture Format ribbon, I'm going to turn on the cropping tool and use my cropping handles here to crop down to just the section that I want. There. Now I'm going to turn off the cropping because I'm done with that, and I'm going to make it larger. Now, because I said to PowerPoint, keep the high resolution image, you'll notice this is zoomed in quite a bit, but it's still clear. It's crisp, and that's what we want. Now we're going to apply the magic of the morph transition effect. I've selected my slide here. I'm going to go to the transitions ribbon. And on the transitions ribbon, I'm going to want to look at morph. And if I put my cursor over there, you'll notice it says morph moves things on the previous slide to their new locations on the current slide, which is what we want it to do. And it says best results, duplicate the slide, move things, and then apply the transition, which is exactly what we're doing. So when you apply the transition, it will preview it for you. So I'll go ahead and click on that button. And you'll notice what happens is that the zooms in on that section on the second slide. You'll notice on the morph ribbon, there is a preview button on the far left side. So when you click on that, it does preview if you wanted to see it again. And you can determine how fast it happens with the duration over here on the ribbon. Now the default is 2 seconds. That's usually fine. I've got my first step done. Now I need to make sure that the whole slide is done. So I've done the image side. Now I need to do the title. So always remember that the text, the title, the headline has to match the image. So this is going to be Mix, Oleum, and Alkene. Okay. So So I've got my title correct, I've got my image correct. Good. Now I can duplicate the slide again. So again, I'll select the slide and press Control D. Again, Control D for duplicate. On slide number 3, I'm going to want to change the cropping area of this particular image. So I'll select the image and go to my Picture Format ribbon. Again, I'll select my cropping tool. In this case, I'm going to move the cropping to the new area that I want to talk about. So here I'm going to talk about the next step, which is, let's say, mixing the water with that output in the thinner and cooler. I've done my cropping, turn the cropping tool off, and I'll move this image down out of the title. And again, I'll want to change the title. So this says mix with water in thinner/cooler. Okay. Now, do I need to apply the morph transition effect? I don't actually, because it's already applied. When I go to the transitions ribbon, you can see the morph is already selected. That's because duplicating a slide duplicates the animation or transition effects that you have already applied to the slide. And I can prove that. I'll click on the preview, and you'll notice that it moves. This is a great way to show context first, the large image, and then use a series of slides that cropped to just a small part and using the morph transition to move through. Because that morph transition pans across as it moves from slide to slide, your audience still has context, and they do not lose context with where they are in the overall image. So just create as many slides as you need to go through the part of the diagram that you want. And when you're done, if you want to, you can go back at the end to this overall diagram if you want to, if you feel that's necessary. But start with it and then go through each portion one by cropping, applying the morph transition, and it'll be a great effect for your audience, and it'll really keep them paying attention and moving along with you as you explain this complex diagram.
If you found this video helpful, there are 3 things you can do to help me out. First, click the like button below the video on YouTube. Second, leave a comment with any questions or feedback. And third, subscribe to my channel. Check out my websites and other videos with more tips and advice. Thanks again for watching.